was like, twins! And then I told him about this 24/7 waffle place.
Waffles, anytime. That's just as great as Geico's 24/7 claim service. Anytime, on the phone or online.
And I was like, wish you can get waffles on the phone. It was hilarious. Seriously, he was crying. And then we got waffles.
Yeah, waffles.
Geico, car insurance made easy with 24/7 claim service.
Hi, I'm Doug Jessup. There still are powerful, positive, and inspirational stories out there. I would like to personally invite you to watch Jessup's Journal, Sunday mornings at 10, right here on ABC4, as well as worldwide at jessupsjournal.com.
Live from Utah's CW30, ABC4 News at 7 starts now.
Good evening. Thank you for watching ABC4 News at 7 on the CW30. I'm Elena Castro. Courtney Johns has the night off. Tonight we start the show off with our top 7 stories at 7 p.m. Beginning with an update, Florida judge saying the lawsuit Gabby Petito's family filed against the parents of Brian Laundrie can go forward. Petito and Laundrie both became subjects of a nationwide search effort. Gabby Petito went missing during a 2021 road trip with her boyfriend Brian, which passed through Utah. Her body was found in Wyoming about a month later. Laundrie later died by suicide, and federal investigators have concluded he killed her. Gabby's parents are suing the Laundries for causing emotional distress intentionally, covering up Brian's crimes and withholding information. It now looks like the case could head to trial by next year. We are learning about a new civil lawsuit Corey Richins is filing against her late husband's estate, claiming their prenuptial agreement is still valid. Corey is in the Summit County Jail, is accused of killing her husband, Eric, with a lethal dose of fentanyl. But the case documents don't mention any of that. The lawsuit says Corey deserves 50% of their home in Camas. She also claims she has a right to Eric's portion of his business. The prenup says she would be only entitled to that if Eric died while they were still married. Richins' lawyers filed the lawsuit against Eric's sister, the representative of Eric's estate. The judge is denying Lori Vallow Daybell a new trial. Daybell was found guilty for murdering her 2 youngest children and conspiring to kill her husband's ex-wife. Her legal team challenged her conviction, claiming one of the jurors knew about body camera video that wasn't admitted as evidence during that trial, and that the jury received confusing instructions. According to News Nation, the judge said he didn't find sufficient evidence for a new trial to be admitted and denied the motion. Daybell's sentencing is set for July 31st. She faces the possibility of life in prison. A car fire on Bangerter Highway shut down the road in West Jordan for some time today. Here's a look at the scene when it happened. West Jordan police tell us someone called for a tow truck when they noticed smoke in the engine. A tow truck came, got the car, and while they were driving, noticed the car had gone up in flames. We're told the tow truck driver tried to get the car off the bed, but it was too hot. The tow truck getting scorched and the car now destroyed. Luckily, no one was injured during that incident. That area is back open tonight. In our flood watch, you are seeing pictures of intense flooding in American Fork. This is 100 West, and this road is closing starting at 15 South all the way to the Boat Harbor. The city says the flooding has ruined the road's structure, so they're warning people this road will stay closed for several months, saying it will reopen no sooner than mid-August. The Supreme Court has rejected a major challenge to the Indian Child Welfare Act, or ICWA. Justices voted 7-2 to uphold the law giving Native American families priority in adopting Native kids. The court found Congress was well within its rights to enact the law, but did not address any equal protection concerns. Utah joined 21 states in filing briefs in support of the law. Local lawmakers even considered a state version of ICWA during this year's legislation session, but it did not pass. The Family Support Center hosting a ribbon-cutting ceremony to highlight the newly transformed units at their Life Start Village. The village is used for people who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. The nonprofit Home Aid Utah built the village. They are working to build new constructions, offer community engagement and education to at-risk people.
A lot of them come here because they've tried other ways of doing things and it haven't worked. And so we are a program known to helping the families that struggle a little bit more to get out of poverty and out of homelessness.
Lund says these families can stay in the program for up to 5 years, and they welcome single families and their children as well. She adds they lost their main source of funding 7 years ago, and since then they've been able to keep the program open by private donations. Still ahead, staying safe during the deadliest time on the road. Here are the new warnings from state leaders this summer about driving near big rigs.
Well, we've seen a little bit of thunder damage out there right now, and we are looking at more thunderstorms. I'll have more on both of those coming up here in just a few minutes.
This may look like an action-adventure movie, but it's a Nissan sales event ad. Things are heating up. Good thing this Rogue has the most standard safety features in its class. Our competitors can't say that.
Get 0% financing for 36 months on select Rogue trims.
Hurry. These epic offers won't last forever.
It's slow braised, shredded, and back at Del Taco. Shredded pork carnitas returns in a stuffed quesadilla taco, combo burrito, epic torta, and carnitas fries. Tenderer, shredder, juicier. Carnitas. Say hello to Del Taco Bettermex.
It's the last great value menu. Del Taco's 20 under 2 menu has 20 items under $2 each, like the bean and cheese burrito, almost a half pound, crispy chicken tacos, and real strawberry Sprite, 20 under 2. Say hello to Del Taco Bettermex.
Our excellence is shining, yet so many of us are dying. Colon screenings are a must. They're recommended for those 45 and up. It's on us to stand up to cancer once and for all.
One group can't do it all. It takes all of us, and we need to work diligently throughout the year, not just today.
We all need fuel to function. Help ABC4, Utah CW30, and the Utah Honda dealers feed hungry families. Drop off non-perishable food items at our studio this week between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Help us fill the Forewarn Extreme Weather machine parked out front. Once it's full, we're sending it off to the Utah Food Bank. That's good for Utah.
Time now for your Forewarn weather with Garrett James.
Welcome back. Let's get a check of our weather with meteorologist Garrett James. He joins us live from southern Utah. Garrett, how's it looking?
Well, it's looking stormy out there, and thunderstorms are continuing to move through the southern part of the state. And with some of these thunderstorms, we're looking at a little bit of strong winds. In fact, strong enough that we're seeing a little bit of displaced furniture out there. This is a lookout over Sun River, thanks to Didi Kennedy, and they can see clearly that there is a little bit of thunderstorm damage out there at the present time, mainly just some displaced furniture at the present time. But some of these gusty winds are kicking up a little bit of dust here to the south as well. We go ahead and take a look at the radar. What looks to be a sight for sore eyes for at least northern Utah, mainly dry. However, towards the south, a lot of thunderstorms. We can see a lot of lightning strikes being associated with these thunderstorms, but the bulk of them are off towards Garfield, Kane, Iron, and Washington counties at the present time. These are continuing to move further and further to the east, and with them could be a little bit of small hail, maybe some gusty winds. However, a little bit of flooding could very well be possible with the strongest of these storms. Take a look at this. Here's a look at the futurecast. It shows that we are going to be looking at these thunderstorms continuing for the next few hours, dying down overnight tonight, but picking back up by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon. By the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, a few strong thunderstorms could be expected once again. Maybe a little bit of flooding in flood-prone areas once again as well. However, these will start to taper off by the time we get to Saturday, and then we'll be looking at rain chances returning Saturday once again. So look at the storm threat for tomorrow, just a general risk for thunderstorms. Same goes for Saturday, but for the eastern half of the area, basically along and east of I-15. However, the excessive rainfall threat mainly going to be just to our east. However, like I said, a little bit of flooding in flood-prone areas can't be ruled out. Take a look at this. Precip potential for tomorrow mainly going to be towards the southern half of the state once again. As far as the flash flood potential goes, going to be possible for all of the locations listed right here. However, if you do find yourself having to go outside for a hike, make sure that you have a way of getting notifications, especially if you're going into a slot canyon, as flash flooding could be possible. Look out over ABC4 Studios. Looks fairly calm up that direction. However, to the southeast in Moab, we can see a few stormy skies off in the distance, as well as a little bit of blue skies mixed in as well. 60 degrees there, but stormy skies here in St. George, where the temperature is 73 degrees, 67 in Provo. Lows tonight, temperatures mainly going to be in the 50s. However, highs tomorrow going to be a tad bit warmer for some, mainly in the 70s. However, 80 for Moab and 84 for St. George. Look at the Wasatch Front. It shows that we're going to be looking at 82 tomorrow, 90s on Saturday, but back to the 80s Sunday, 70s by Monday. And then St. George going to be looking at temps in the mid-90s for the high on Friday. About 97 degrees on Saturday afternoon, looking fairly windy. 94 for Father's Day, going to be windy as well. 90 on Monday, 92 on Tuesday, but temperatures back to the mid-90s on Wednesday. And then for Thursday, it's going to be roughly 90 degrees. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Garrett. Check out this video of a water spout forming over Utah Lake this morning as a severe storm swept through Utah County. A viewer in Pleasant Grove sending us this picture, saying it was visible for several minutes. This as scattered storms continue throughout the valley today. After a series of crashes with big rigs, we're getting an inside look at what it's like driving on Utah highways in a semi-truck. ABC4's Kayla Baggerly spoke with a driver about what it's like sharing the road.
One thing you'll want to keep in mind is that semis like this one have several blind spots. You may not even realize it, but this car isn't one of them. We spoke with one truck driver about her perspective and what she wants others to know.
That car you just saw, this is what shows in the semi side mirror. Angie Cloud, who has been a professional semi-truck driver for 18 years, says these trucks have larger blind spots and need more room out on the roads.
We carry a lot of responsibility. We can't turn like a car. We can't stop like a car. So we have to be constantly on the lookout for any obstacles that may come our way.
Utah is known as the crossroads of the West, and according to UDOT, semis make up about 25% of the vehicles out on our roads, which is double the national average. UDOT says drivers need to give semis plenty of distance. They suggest making sure you can see both headlights of the truck in your rearview mirror before changing lanes, and to look for the driver's face in your side mirror, because if you can see them, they can see you.
75% of the crashes involving large commercial vehicles are the passenger car driver's fault. So 3 out of 4 times, us in our cars, we're the ones causing the crashes. We have a lot of improvement there.
Angie says that she often sees drivers that are distracted and texting or not being careful around semis, and wants drivers to remember to practice safety when they see trucks like hers out on the highway.
We just want to get all of your goods to you in a safe manner. We don't want to have accidents. We don't want to hog the road like people think. We want to share the road with everybody, but we want to do it safely.
Now, truck drivers go through rigorous training to be able to operate these semis safely, and UDOT says that we can all do our part. So keep in mind that these trucks, they're big, they're heavy, and they need plenty of space. And we can all work to share the roads. Reporting from West Valley, Kayla Baggerly, ABC4 News.
Coming up, one of the top medical institutions in the country at the center of a gruesome scandal. Find out how long federal investigators believe a morgue manager at Harvard has been selling cadavers' body parts.
Ram season is here with the right trucks for every purpose, every path, and every soul. Now's the season to be a Ram.
Right now during Ram season, get 10% below MSRP or 2.9% financing for 72 months on the 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn.
Your heart is the beat of life. If you have heart failure, entrust your heart to Entresto. Entresto helps improve your heart's ability to pump blood to the body. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. And don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor if Entresto is right for you.
No, I got this.
Let me help you with that.
I'm good, man. Thanks.
Are you sure?
got it.
Oh, I'm okay.
You want to flip those over, though.
Everyone can use a little help now and then. The Volkswagen Tiguan with standard front assist. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 1.9% APR financing for 36 months on a new 2023 Taos or Tiguan.
Nearly a year after the Dobbs decision, which puts states back in control of abortion laws, the White House invited state leaders to discuss how they safeguard access to reproductive health care. Basil John reports on the actions they've taken and what the administration is doing.
Ahead of the first anniversary of Roe v. Wade overturning.
We're still working really, really hard with those patients in mind who need access to care.
80 legislators from across the country came to the White House this week to talk about how each of their states is protecting reproductive rights.
We need to make sure that in states where it's still available, it's still legal, it's still safe, that we recognize we're not just servicing women in Pennsylvania, we're servicing our neighbors.
The Biden administration invited them to share potential solutions with each other.
We really get some great ideas and find better ways to work together to defend people's rights.
Being able to work together to make sure that, to the extent possible, we're creating some level playing fields for folks is also critically important.
Many of the state legislators in attendance tell us having the support of the president will make a big difference in the long fight ahead.
Their hands are tied on the federal side, but it shows that they are aligned and it shows that they trust us to keep fighting at the state level.
These lawmakers say they want to build momentum at the state level and work to prevent additional rights from being lost.
Tackle the issues as they arise is so incredibly important and is really going to continue to require that collaboration from states.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Basil John.
The CDC says suicide and homicide rates among young Americans jumped during the COVID-19 pandemic. A study found the homicide rate for teenagers was at its highest point in 25 years, and suicide rates for people in their early 20s was the worst in more than 50 years. Experts cite several possible reasons for the jump, including higher rates of depression, limited mental health services, and the number of guns in homes. A clinical trial is underway in the UK for a breath test that can diagnose a variety of cancers. A professor leading the research says the breath test can identify many different cancers because tumors give off different gas. This could make testing for cancers in the digestive tract much easier for those patients and doctors.
That is why it could be used as a test for multiple cancer in the same test. Like you do a blood test. You take a blood sample, but you can test for a kidney function, you can test for a liver function. The same as a breath, we can detect multiple cancers.
Right now, the test shows a 90% accuracy on confirmed cancer patients, but doctors hope this test will catch cancer before a person starts showing symptoms. Now to a disturbing story out of Boston. A former morgue manager at Harvard University Medical School is accused of stealing and selling dissected human body parts. Prosecutors say he did this for about 4 years, using cadavers donated to the school for education purposes. ABC's Irina Roy has the latest.
Is it real? You know, I mean, yes, he was already passed away, but still.
A gruesome discovery at Harvard University Medical School, where FBI agents say the former morgue manager, Cedric Lodge, stole and sold human body parts for years. Officials say the body of a New Hampshire sheriff's deputy who died in 2019 was part of the morbid scheme.
Who could do something like that? You know, what kind of person? No respect at all for the family. They need to pay.
Investigators say from 2018 to 2022, Lodge stole heads, brains, skin, and bones from cadavers donated to the medical school for science. He then allegedly brought them to his New Hampshire home and, with his wife's help, sold them for thousands of dollars. Buyers identified in the federal indictment include Katrina McLean, owner of Cat's Creepy Creations, a Massachusetts store that advertises creations that shock the mind and shake the soul. Officials say she and others were allowed to enter the morgue and choose what they wanted to buy, some items selling for hundreds of dollars each. In one case, skin that was sold was allegedly made into leather. The family of that New Hampshire sheriff's deputy says his wife died earlier this year. Her body was also donated. Her daughters now want her body returned.
And she's down there. And we want her back.
Harvard Medical School leaders called the case morally reprehensible and an abhorrent betrayal, saying they're working to find all of the families affected and have set up a website and hotline for donors' families. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Coming up, a new warning about scams, how to protect yourself against robocalls. Stay with us.
At Smith's, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we do up to a 27-point inspection to check for things like color and scarring. Because when it comes to fresh, higher standards mean fresher produce. Smith's, fresh for everyone.
This summer is the perfect time to join the Jeep community, where you can overcome more obstacles, bring the sun along for every ride, and electrify every adventure by going even further. Make this the summer you go anywhere and do anything. Make this the summer of Jeep.
During Jeep 4x4 season, well-qualified returning FCA lessees can lease the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited for $369 a month. Visit Jeep.com for details.
It started. It's the side hug. Tween milestones like this may start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then, too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for others, it can cause certain cancers later in life. Welcome! Now, as the dad cab, it's my cue to help protect them.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next. Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination.
When you download the Smith's app, you have easy access to savings every day and get personalized coupons sent straight to your phone. Save big today when you download the Smith's app. Smith's, fresh for everyone.
Knock, knock. Who are you? Don't you remember me, Mother? See who could be at the door. Hi! On Carol Burnett.
Weeknights at 10 on MeTV 4.2 Utah.
Welcome to the party. Ready to get freaky?
This hot she has fun. She screws up things one by one.
Ow! Nice going. You completely missed my arm.
Mom.
Want to help kids get their homework done? Well, an internet connection's a good start. But kids also need computers. And sometimes the hardest thing about homework is finding a place to do it. So why not hook community centers up with Wi-Fi for kids like us and all the amazing things we're going to learn?
Over the next 10 years, Comcast is committing $1 billion to reach 50 million low-income Americans with the tools and resources they need to be ready for anything.
I hope you're ready, because we are.
President Joe Biden says several entertainment ticketing companies have agreed to provide the full price tickets up front. The goal is to avoid hidden fees in the online ticketing process. This comes after Ticketmaster faced major scrutiny in November from the Taylor Swift Eras Tour debacle. The White House calls the announcement a big win for consumers.
These hidden charges the companies sneak into your bill to make you pay more. This is a win for consumers in my view, and proof that our crackdown on junk fees has real momentum.
Live Nation, Ticketmaster's parent company, plans to roll out all-in pricing in September. They say concert attendance was up 24% last year. The White House says more companies plan to heed the president's call. For example, Airbnb also met with the president today. Step aside Bud Light, there's a new beer in town. Modelo has taken over as the country's top-selling beer. Bud Light has been America's most popular beer for years, but took a dip in May following backlash from a partnership with a transgender influencer. Meanwhile, Modelo saying their success was a long time coming and isn't in connection to any brand's recent declines. Some plus-size airline passengers want the FAA to give them an extra seat for free. It's in response to an increasing problem of people struggling to fit into their seats. Right now, if a plus-size individual needs more space, they have to buy a second seat or get off the plane. Supporters say this would address the lack of space and make trips more comfortable. But some people are concerned this would make ticket prices more expensive for everyone else. If you're looking for an excuse to take a road trip across America, look no further. Heinz is releasing sauce packets for every state, and you can collect them all. The company is calling it Sauce America. Packets will have all the classic condiments like ketchup, mustard, mayo, and ranch, but the designs will be unique to each state. Utah's a mayo packet showing a burger with mountains in the background. The packets will be available at restaurants, theaters, and drive-thrus. If you collect them all, you can enter to win a prize on the Sauce America website. Now to a new warning about scams. Authorities say the biggest one right now is connected to something everyone hates, robocalls. And people in Ohio are being bombarded by them. ABC's Trevor Alt explains what you need to know to protect yourself.
Hi there, this is Ethan on a recorded line calling from Medicare Rewards. Can you hear me okay?
This morning, the biggest and arguably most annoying scam in the Buckeye State, illegal robocalls. The state attorney general sharing examples like this one.
Hello, this is Audrey, and I'm a Social Security Disability Advisor on a recorded line, and you can press 1 to be removed now.
Some of them are people claiming to be from the IRS or a law enforcement. We've got a warrant for your arrest, Mrs. Smith. But we can take care of it over the phone if you have a credit card.
According to the Ohio AG's office, residents in the state were bombarded with a whopping 2.2 billion illegal robocalls in 2019. And in 2022, the Federal Trade Commission listed Ohio as the #2 state in the nation with the most reported complaints.
They all have this in common. They're abusing a source of trust to try to get money out of you by pretending to be somebody that they're not.
It's really frustrating. Peter Myzitis lives right outside of Cleveland, and he says he's been a magnet for pesky robocalls. In fact, he tells us over the past decade, he's reported more than 300 of them to the Ohio Attorney General. But Myzitis says he was shocked when last year he got a recorded voicemail from a number claiming to be from the Cleveland Clinic just days after having a surgical procedure there.
Cleveland Clinic. For Peter Myzitis. We called to check in about some health content.
It looked like they were trying to set up my surgery or something, but the surgery was already scheduled. They were baiting me as far as this phone call from the Cleveland Clinic, and it wasn't from the Cleveland Clinic.
The Cleveland Clinic tells ABC News, we are aware some patients may be receiving phony robocalls claiming to follow up after a recent medical procedure or appointment. If patients have concerns about an incoming call they may receive, they can contact their physician's office or a Cleveland Clinic customer service number.
It's an anxiety to have to deal with these individuals.
And of course, by now, we all know the best practice with these calls is to not answer them or to hang up. But we do have some further tips from the FCC. They say if you're on one of these calls and it says press a certain button to no longer receive any calls, don't press the button. Just hang up. They actually might take you pressing that button as willingness to engage with them. The FCC also encourages everybody to sign up for the Do Not Call list. It's very easy to do. You can do so on their website, fcc.gov. And this last tip we got from one of the Shark Tank sharks, Robert Herjavec. He says if you get a call from an unknown number and you're going to answer it, never say hello. Just pause for a moment and let it hang in silence, because a lot of times your own voice will trigger the recording, and if you don't say anything, it can throw off the system. Trevor Alt, ABC News, Cleveland.
Coming up, a new study shows the effects of dust on Utah snowpack, what it does, plus where some of the dust is coming from.
Good Sense on Good Things Utah, brought to you by America First Credit Union.
Welcome to the party. Ready to get freaky?
This hot mom, she has fun. She screws up things one by one.
Ow! Nice going. You completely missed my arm.
Mom. Your dirty vents may be telling you something. Pounds of dirt, dust, and contaminants are trapped in your air ducts. That's why you need a professional air duct cleaning from Stanley Steamer. We've been cleaning air ducts the right way for over 25 years. Our NADCA certified technicians and powerful equipment clean your entire system, extracting the dirt into our trucks, removing it from your home completely. For better indoor air quality and improved HVAC efficiency,
call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
If you're looking for the best way to buy a pre-owned Honda, look no further than Honda True. You get less to worry about and more benefits. Choose from 3 different tiers with up to 10 model years of Honda vehicles, inspected by a Honda-trained technician. Discover why Honda True means less compromise and more of what you love about Honda.
This is me, and this was my stubborn body fat.
My name's Adrian, and Sono Bello changed my life.
Sono Bello is America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist, and they permanently removed my body fat in just one visit.
After having 2 kids, my body, it changed a lot. I tried everything to lose the fat, but nothing seemed to work.
Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells permanently on your stomach, back, chin, and more.
I've seen such dramatic results. My tummy is gone, my double chin is gone, and my hourglass shape is back. This was the mommy makeover that I deserved.
Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation and find out how you can get $250 off instantly. Call 888-994-2792 or go to sonobello.com.
Knock, knock. Who are you? Don't you remember me, Mother? See who could be at the door. Hi! On Carol Burnett.
Weeknights at 10 on MeTV 4.2 Utah.
Live from Utah's CW30, ABC4 News at 7:30 starts now.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Elena Castro. Courtney Johns has the night off. A Florida judge now saying the lawsuit Gabby Petito's family filed against the parents of Brian Laundrie can go forward. Gabby's parents are suing the Laundries for causing emotional distress by intentionally covering up Brian's crimes and withholding information. Petito and Laundrie both became subjects of a nationwide search effort. Gabby Petito went missing during a 2021 road trip with her boyfriend Brian, which passed through Utah. Her body was found in Wyoming about a month later. Laundrie later died by suicide, and federal investigators have concluded he killed her. It now looks like that case will head to trial by next year. In Salt Lake City, a 79-year-old man is recovering after he was mugged during his morning walk. It happened on Tuesday along West 1300 South. Robert Lear, 25, is accused of attacking that man, stealing his money and credit cards. Police say he punched the victim several times before running away. They believe the attack was at random. Lear was arrested and is now facing a felony charge of aggravated robbery. A man in serious condition after a trench collapse in Salt Lake City yesterday. The Salt Lake City Fire Department getting to a new construction site near 376 West, 200 South to find an adult male involved in the collapse. When they arrived, they found the man buried waist deep. Heavy rescue responding, which included 12 firefighters. The man was sent to a Trauma One hospital with lower extremity injuries, which were at first non-life-threatening, but he was later listed as being in serious condition. Springville police need your help in identifying a group of teenagers they say hit a woman so hard with a water balloon she got a concussion. This happened on Saturday near 750 South and 19th East in Springville. They say this truck full of teenagers threw water balloons at her and hit the back of her head. Police say they hit the woman so hard she fell to the ground. So take a good look at your screen. If you think you know who did this, please call the Springville police. Researchers with the University of Utah have been studying the effects of dust on Utah's snowpack, and today their findings are being published. They now know that the single biggest contributor of dust along the Wasatch Front is the Great Salt Lake. ABC4's Northern Utah correspondent Kate Garner has the details. Kate?
It's incredible. We're in the middle of June and there is still snow to be seen on our mountains. Now you can see the snow behind me is looking pretty dirty, and that could be for a number of reasons, but those researchers say that one of the biggest reasons for dirty snow across the Wasatch Front is airborne dust. And in fact, they say in 2022, that dust caused our snowpack to melt nearly a month earlier than it should have.
It's mid-June and many mountain peaks are still holding on to some snow. That was not the case a year ago.
We had the dustiest season on record since records began in 2009, and then dust shifted snowmelt timing by about 2 to 3 weeks.
PhD student Otto Lang is one of the researchers looking into Utah's dust problem under the direction of Dr. Mackenzie Skiles.
Snow is a critical water resource. None of us would be here without it.
Snowmelt is something that is always monitored.
We monitor all kinds of variables like radiation and temperature, things that impact snowmelt.
But dust is not usually part of the equation.
Dust is a process that is not considered all that important here in the Wasatch as a part of the snowmelt regime, and I think we're getting to the point where we need to start considering it.
Not considering dust's effects could cause some issues.
It makes it more difficult to predict when and how rapidly the snow will melt.
Since snowmelt predictions don't currently account for dust, those predictions may overestimate how much water will actually make it to the reservoirs. And increased dust can also lead to flooding downstream if the snow melts early and all at once, rather than spread out over weeks.
The fact that the Great Salt Lake is a new dust source and is so close, that this is not a problem that's just going to go away on its own.
Dr. Skiles explains that their research also finds that nearly 1/4 of all the dust on the snowpack in 2022 came from the dry lake bed at Great Salt Lake, the single largest source of dust.
We're not only concerned about the lake levels and the ecology, but it also has kind of wider scale impacts on snow melt and on water availability.
Researchers say the dust that ends up settling on the Wasatch Front comes from a lot of different places, but the single largest source is the source that's closest to us, the Great Salt Lake. And it's the one source of dust that we can control. Reporting from Weber County, Kate Garner, ABC4 News.
The Salt Lake City Fire Department joined forces with the Humane Society of Utah to protect pets in hot cars earlier today. Heat stroke among pets is a real danger and can happen quickly. With the summer months being here, the Salt Lake City Fire Department is responding to numerous calls about pets overheating and being trapped in hot vehicles. The event giving more information on preventing animal heat stroke and tips to keep your pets safe.
So what that ultimately equates to is about 2/3 of all of our animal rescues for the fire department. 2/3 of those are dogs being left in hot vehicles. And we feel like this is a preventable thing that we can inform the public about. There's measures that they can take to really take care of their animals.
Leaving your pets in hot cars could cause heat stroke, illnesses, seizures, and in the worst case, death. One couple is on a quest to visit every Texas roadhouse in America, and this week they're in Utah. This is Judy and Mike McNamara. Judy retired from her 45-year career in the International Paper Mill in Virginia back in 2017. Traveling was next on the couple's list, and in 2003, the couple visited their first Texas roadhouse. That's when they decided to add the restaurant to their tour of the country. The couple ate at the Orem location today. They are headed to the Spanish Fork location tomorrow and are rounding off their tour of Utah in Lehi. Still ahead, a sextortion scam ends in a teen boy taking his own life. Hear how his parents are speaking out in their warning to the public. What's news to you matters to us. Report breaking news or share your story tips with us. Contact us on the ABC4 News tip line, online at abc4.com/tipline, or call the number right there on your screen.
The seasons are changing, but that doesn't mean you have to stay indoors.
At Your Leisure will take you to exciting new venues and destinations year-round. Be sure to watch At Your Leisure.
ABC4, Saturday nights at 10:30, Sundays at 9 a.m.
If you have heart disease and are on a statin, lowering cholesterol can be hard. Diets and exercise add to the struggle. Today, it's possible to go from struggle to cholesterol success with Leqvio. With a statin, Leqvio is proven to lower bad cholesterol by over 50% and keep it low with 2 doses a year. Common side effects were injection site reaction, joint pain, urinary tract infection, diarrhea, chest cold, pain in legs or arms, and shortness of breath. Ask your doctor about twice-yearly Leqvio. Lower, longer Leqvio.
It's Champion Windows' 70th anniversary sale, and we're giving the presents to you. Right now, get 40% off new windows, plus pay nothing for 18 months. And we're giving away $70,000 in our home makeover giveaway. 70 years of designing, building, installing, and guaranteeing Champion Comfort 365 windows direct from our factory to your home. Don't wait. Get 40% off windows today. Call or schedule your free estimate online 24/7 at getchampionwindows.com.
This is me, and this was my stubborn body fat. My name's Adrian, and Sono Bello changed my life. Sono Bello is America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist, and they permanently removed my body fat in just one visit. After having 2 kids, my body, it changed a lot. I tried everything to lose the fat, but nothing seemed to work.
Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells permanently on your stomach, back, chin, and more.
I've seen such dramatic results. My tummy is gone, my double chin is gone, and my hourglass shape is back. This was the mommy makeover that I deserved.
Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation and find out how you can get $250 off instantly. Call
888-994-2792
or go to sonobello.com.
What are y'all doing sitting indoors? There's so much to do outdoors.
Yeah, you can tune into At Your Leisure to find out what to do each week. It's adventure family style.
That's right. ABC4, Saturday nights at 10:30, Sunday mornings at 9.
You're watching ABC4 News on Utah's CW30.
Now to the latest on the Marine veteran who is accused of choking a man to death on the subway in New York City. Sources telling ABC News a grand jury has now indicted Daniel Penny a month after the incident. ABC's Rena Roy has more.
Marine veteran Daniel Penny has now been indicted by a Manhattan grand jury, according to law enforcement sources. He's accused of putting subway performer Jordan Neely, who was homeless at the time, in a fatal chokehold inside a New York subway car. While Penny initially faced manslaughter charges, the specifics of the indictment won't be unsealed until he appears in court at a later date. Video of the May 1st encounter shows Penny restraining Neely on the ground with a chokehold. Neely eventually stopped moving and became unconscious. The chief medical examiner's office later ruling the death a homicide. An attorney for Neely's family saying Daniel Penny's indictment is the right result for the wrong he committed. We will continue to fight on behalf of Jordan as this process moves forward. Earlier this week, Penny's lawyers releasing videos of Penny describing the incident. He says Neely began yelling and threatening passengers, adding that he restrained Neely to protect himself and others, but did not intend to kill him.
The three main threats that he repeated over and over was, I'm going to kill you, I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die.
Neely had a documented history of mental illness. Witnesses telling police he had been threatening and harassing passengers, though Penny was not specifically targeted. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
The Southern Baptist Convention is cracking down on women serving in the clergy. The decision coming after 5 churches were recently expelled from the convention for ordaining women as pastors. 2 churches appealed the decision and were handedly rejected. Supporters of the crackdown say it's about commitment to biblical principles, but the expelled churches see this as a sign of stagnation in the faith.
It's a matter of biblical commitment, a commitment to the scripture that unequivocally, we believe, limits the office of pastor to men.
I wanted to push the conversation that's been stagnant for years. We're in a culture, a cancel culture, where people are afraid of dissent. Baptists are famous for dissent.
The Southern Baptist Convention will vote next year on the proposal to expand restrictions on women. The vote yesterday puts an estimated 1,900 Southern Baptist churches at risk for expulsion. The family of a Michigan teenager is going through the unimaginable, losing their son to suicide. Investigators believe he was the victim of a social media sextortion scheme. ABC's Will Reeve has the story.
Overnight, the parents of a Michigan teenager speaking out about a growing social media scam they said led to the death of their 17-year-old son.
3 people from across the world came into my house that night while I was sleeping and murdered Jordan. And I had 0 chance to stop it.
John DeMay and Jennifer Buta opening up about so-called sextortion scams, which trick teens into sending explicit photos of themselves online, only to be blackmailed. Their son Jordan becoming a victim of the scheme, later taking his own life.
Jordan was this outgoing young man. He had a smile that was contagious. He loved playing sports.
He was handsome. He was popular. He was the prom king.
The beloved high school football player was scammed into sending explicit photos of himself to who he thought was a teenage girl on Instagram. But prosecutors allege he was actually speaking to Samuel Ogoshi, a grown man from Nigeria, pretending to be a young woman to produce a sexually explicit image of Jordan with the intention of using the image to blackmail him.
He drained his bank accounts as much as he could.
On March 25th, 2022, prosecutors say Ogoshi demanded $1,000 from the teen, writing under the fake account Danny Roberts. I have screenshot all your followers and tags, can send this nudes to everyone. All you've to do is cooperate with me and I won't expose you.
He's believing that all these images are going to his friends' mothers and his friends, and it just threw him into a tailspin.
2 hours after the initial threat, Jordan wrote, "I'm kill myself right now because of you." The scammer's response, "Good, do that fast, or I'll make you do it." Moments later, Jordan died by suicide. Last year, the FBI said there were roughly 7,000 reports of sextortion online, resulting in more than a dozen suicides. Authorities stressing that while any child could be targeted, 14 to 17-year-old boys are most often victimized. Now, Jordan's parents are helping other families know of the potential dangers about what children are exposed to online and how to prevent it from happening.
Having open conversations about the dangers of social media in general and specifically sextortion. Let your kids know. If it does happen, go to a trusted adult and let them know that this is happening and get their help.
That was Will Reeve reporting for ABC. If you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, please take a look at this screen and remember you are not alone. You can call 988 to reach the National Suicide Crisis Hotline. There are resources available 24 hours a day.
We've got thunderstorms in the area causing a lot of lightning. I'll have more on those and everything you need to know here in just a few minutes.
Rugged good looks, strong, adventurous, tech-savvy, and durable. Amp up your ride and your next adventure with the Honda Ridgeline. Visit a Utah Honda dealer near you today and get equipped for the challenges that come your way.
Imagine you're doing something you love. RSV could cut it short. RSV is a contagious virus that usually causes mild symptoms, but can cause more severe infections that may lead to hospitalizations in adults 60 and older, and adults with certain underlying conditions like COPD, asthma, or congestive heart failure. Talk to your doctor and visit cutshortrsv.com.
Now what? You say it when things go wrong. At Prudential, we think you should say it when things go right, too. Like when you score your dream job, sell your business, or discover she's smart, really smart. Now what? Here's what. You connect with Prudential's rock-solid team serving over 50 million people with investment, insurance, and retirement know-how. Who's your rock? Visit Prudential.com or speak to an advisor today.
Want a flatter, tighter tummy? Then check out new AbEX from Sono Bello.
Doctor, after my pregnancies, my body just never bounced back. I had this stomach overhang that made me really self-conscious.
It's not your fault. That stubborn fat and excess skin is extremely hard to get rid of with diet and exercise alone.
That's exactly why I went to Sono Bello. I really trust their team of experts, and I finally got the flat stomach I had always wanted.
Introducing AbEX from Sono Bello. Remove fat and lose excess skin permanently in just one visit.
AbEX is a great alternative to a tummy tuck. So that stomach overhang that you mentioned becomes a flat, tight tummy fast with minimal downtime.
Schedule your free, no obligation consultation now to learn more about AbEX by Sono Bello. Call 1-800-662-6517 or go to sonobello.com.
Help feed hungry families. Drop off non-perishable food items at our studio this week between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Let's fill the Forewarn Extreme Weather Machine parked out front. That's good for Utah.
Time now for your Forewarn weather with Garrett James.
Welcome back. Let's get a check of our weather with meteorologist Garrett James. He joins us live from southern Utah.
Thank you. And we've seen showers and thunderstorms all across the Beehive State today. However, it's mainly been focused in the southern part of the state today. In fact, look from earlier, St. George seeing some lightning off in the distance. Thanks to Robin for sending that in. And we're tracking more of these thunderstorms throughout the next couple of hours. And we're going to be tracking these here throughout the Beehive State. In fact, we're really going to be looking at these taking place here over the next, I'd say, 24 to 48 hours. But We've also seen a little bit of damage associated with some of these storms as well. Some wind caused some furniture and some lawn furniture to get tossed around. We can see this is from Sun River right here. And let's go ahead and focus on the radar really quickly. We see showers and thunderstorms mainly in the southern half of the state. Really, you can kind of draw the line with I-70 into the south. That's where the thunderstorms are mainly at. Still a little bit of a shower just to the west of Nephi at the present time. However, we see thunderstorms out towards Ridgefield and mainly, like I've been talking about, towards Kane and Washington County at the present time. A few lightning strikes still over towards Garfield County at the present time. But the futurecast, it shows these thunderstorms are really going to start dwindling down here over the next couple of hours. And as they do so, we'll start to dry out just a little bit, but more rain will be moving in overnight. Just a few spotty showers out towards St. George. However, we fast forward to tomorrow afternoon, and like clockwork, we'll be looking at more showers and thunderstorms developing, few of which could be on the strong side of things. Overall, severe weather still not anticipated. However, some hail and high winds can't be completely ruled out of the forecast. Then we'll start to see those clear up towards Saturday morning. Heading over into Saturday afternoon, we will be looking at thunderstorms developing and moving into the area once again. So overall storm threat, just a general risk for tomorrow and Saturday. Saturday mainly going to be in the eastern half of the state along and east of I-15. However, as far as excessive rainfall goes, we're not anticipating any of that. However, a little bit of localized flooding cannot be ruled out of the forecast for the next 24 hours. Take a look at the precip potential. Very solid chances towards the southern half of the state. We can also see up towards the Uinta Mountains as well. Let's talk about flash flood potential. While it is going to be possible for a lot of popular recreation areas, it's not going to be probable like we saw with some locations today. However, it can't be ruled out for tomorrow, so if you do have any hikes planned, make sure that you are paying attention to the weather and the forecast. Look out over ABC4 Studios. We can see blue skies off in the distance, but a bit of a different story towards Moab. We can see thunderstorms off in the distance and some showers as well. Same goes for here in St. George as well. We can see temperatures all across the Beehive State. Honestly, very consistent. It's actually a little bit cooler in St. George than other places thanks to some of that rain-cooled air. Let's look at lows tonight. Temperatures going to be falling down into the 40s and 50s mainly. However, the 60s for St. George. However, tomorrow's highs looking like they're mainly in the 70s. A look at the Wasatch Front. It shows that we're going to be looking at temperatures in the 80s for tomorrow, 90s for the weekend. However, for St. George, looking at temperatures mainly just in the mid-90s.
Coming up, new images from NASA's Curiosity rover on Mars. Get a closer look at the work NASA put into getting these photos to us.
Dear Freedom, what forms do you take? More miles driven, more dollars saved, more life embraced, and more electrified vehicles than any other brand. Yours, Toyota. That's right. Toyota has more electrified vehicles than any other brand.
Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
This is me, and this was my stubborn body fat. My name's Adrian, and Sono Bello changed my life. Sono Bello is America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist, and they permanently removed my body fat in just one visit. After having 2 kids, my body, it changed a lot. I tried everything to lose the fat, but nothing seemed to work.
Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells permanently on your stomach, back, chin, and more.
I've seen such dramatic results. My tummy is gone, my double chin is gone, and my hourglass shape is back. This was the mommy makeover that I deserved.
Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation and find out how you can get $250 off instantly. Call
888-994-2792
or go to sonobello.com.
When Arby's added bacon to the Wagyu Steakhouse burger, it was like, not bad. Then Arby's grabbed that peppercorn ranch and has never felt more alive. Arby's, we have the meat.
Help feed hungry families. Drop off non-perishable food items at our studio this week between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Let's fill the Forewarn Extreme Weather Machine parked out front. That's good for Utah.
I'm Doug Jessup. Watch Positive Stories on Jessup's Journal, Sunday mornings at 10.
NASA revealing images captured by its Mars Curiosity rover as it gravitated towards a 3-mile-high mountain with the Gale crater. It's actually 2 photos taken in black and white in the morning and afternoon of April 8th. In a time lapse of 7.5 minutes, NASA then added color and annotation for a composite that's out of this world. Thanks for joining us tonight on this CW30. We'll see you back at 10 on ABC4. Have a great night.
At Smith's, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we do up to a 27-point inspection to check for things like color and scarring. Because when it comes to fresh, higher standards mean fresher produce. Smith's, fresh for everyone.
Had enough? No, arthritis. Here, Aspercream arthritis. Huh. Full prescription strength. Reduces inflammation. Thank the gods. Don't thank them too soon.
Kick pain in the Aspercream.
If you have heart disease and are on a statin, lowering cholesterol can be hard. Diets and exercise add to the struggle. Today, it's possible to go from struggle to cholesterol success with Leqvio. With a statin, Leqvio is proven to lower bad cholesterol by over 50% and keep it low with 2 doses a year. Common side effects were injection site reaction, joint pain, urinary tract infection, diarrhea, chest cold, pain in legs or arms, and shortness of breath. Ask your doctor about twice-yearly Leqvio. Lower, longer Leqvio.
This summer is the perfect time to join the Jeep community, where you can overcome more obstacles, bring the sun along for every ride, and electrify every adventure by going even further. Make this the summer you go anywhere and do anything. Make this the summer of Jeep.
During Jeep 4x4 season, well-qualified returning FCA lessees can lease the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited for $369 a month. Visit Jeep.com for details.
This is me, and this was my stubborn body fat. My name's Adrian, and Sono Bello changed my life. Sono Bello is America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist, and they permanently removed my body fat in just 1 visit. After having 2 kids, my body, it changed a lot. I tried everything to lose the fat, but nothing seemed to work.
Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells permanently on your stomach, back, chin, and more.
I've seen such dramatic results. My tummy is gone, my double chin is gone, and my hourglass shape is back. This was the mommy makeover that I deserved.
Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation and find out how you can get $250 off instantly. Call
888-994-2792
or go to sonobello.com.
At Papa Murphy's, we do more than just pizza. We do calzones.
Actually, I do the calzones.
And how do you do it, Dad?
How do I do it? How do I do it?
Order now at papamurphys.com.
When you download the Smith's app, you have easy access to savings every day and get personalized coupons sent straight to your phone. Save big today when you download the Smith's app. Smith's, fresh for everyone.
I watch the sun come up over city lights, felt the ocean at my feet. I try to hold my breath, make the seconds this last. Time won't stop for me. These are the moments.
Thank you so much for helping with the build, Dad.
Yeah, well, you dangled bacon in front of me until my eyes went crossed. I had no earthly idea what I'd signed up for.
Well, we couldn't build all this for the horse rescue without you. You've got more experience than the both of us combined.
Well, that was real sweet of you to say, sis. I mean, I love it when my expertise is acknowledged, really.
Oh, August, that's a good joke. Been funnier if you hadn't oversold it. Like, that's sweet of you to say, sis. See? Sweet, simple, clean, funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I liked it better the way he did it. Just kind of went on and on.
Watch. Hey, Stella, can you set me up again with the line that you said to your granddad?
What is going on here?
Go ahead, show him a thing or two about comedic timing. When Maureen was your age, she was the star of a comedy troupe.
That's sweet of you to say, sis.
That's what's known as a callback.
Okay, how am I just finding out about this?
Can we focus on building the stables? We can't board the rescues at the Davidson Ranch anymore. Colton says the stables are packed.
What's this? Cordell sends someone over to help because he's too busy today? Too busy today, too busy every day. For weeks.
Howdy there, walkers. Heard you could use an extra hand.
I invited Kevin. Well, he kind of asked to help after he hooked us up with the horse donor lady.
Georgia May of Happy Horse Farms is not a mere horse donor lady, Augie. She happens to be one of the most influential philanthropists in all of Texas. She also happens to see a lot of potential in your horse rescue, as do I, which is why I'm here.
You don't have to do that, Kevin. I know how busy you are at the mayor's office, but thank you.
Oh, no, honestly, helping at a grassroots level is what I really love anyway. Although Georgia did show me your timeline to launch. Yikes. Not exactly what she had in mind, but don't worry, because I'm here to help get those trains rolling on time. You know what I mean?
And save your relationship with the mayor's donor? Win-win.
So what, Clay Cooper's been hiding for 20 years?
Maybe he wasn't hiding. Maybe he was captured and turned.
So I know we've gone down a dozen dead ends the last few days, but I found something. Okay, if there's something that connects the dots from the Clay Cooper I thought I knew to the Clay Cooper who very well might be the head of Grateful Act.
Yeah, it's a lot of dots to connect, man. Maybe we should look at other theories, not force it.
All the evidence points to this. I mean, every single Marine in our unit was targeted and murdered.
So you're still working from the premise that Coop went all Winter Soldier after he thought you guys left him for dead in Afghanistan?
I stopped trying to understand the why and started trying to figure out the how.
Walker,